Can money buy happiness? Countless people have tried to answer that question, and I find most of those answers are pretty sloppy. See, the question isn't as simple as it seems. In this video, I want to dive a little deeper into the question and try to uncover the pitfalls we might run up against when trying to answer the question. And of course, I have found an answer for myself personally, and I'll share that answer with you at the end. The question of money buying happiness has been asked and answered by all sorts of different people, from philosophers to psychologists, sociologists, economists, neuroscientists, and even mathematicians. And obviously, they come up with one of two answers. Either yes, it can buy happiness, or no, it can't buy happiness. Those who study wealthy people, like lottery winners, usually say that money can't buy happiness. And those that study the poor and downtrodden usually say that yes, some money can buy a little bit of happiness. And there's always those who try to wiggle out with a half answer. Your no with a but or yes with an if. They'll say it depends on cultural background or the amount of money or age or something like that. Now, the data analysis is usually pretty good. That's not where the problem is. It's the interpretation of the results. So let's look at the issue a little bit deeper. It's really only three words. Can money buy happiness? Take that first word, money. What is money? Obviously, we're not talking about the little slips of paper. That doesn't do any good without the value behind it. We're really talking about wealth. But not just wealth, it's really what the wealth can be traded for. If you had a large mass of wealth, like a locked trust fund or a buried treasure that you could never touch, I think that would make you more unhappy than not having it in the first place. It always being just out of reach like that. Very frustrating. We're really talking about liquid wealth, spendable wealth, what you can trade it for. It's a resource. Should be simple enough. Even more sticky is happiness. Philosophers can write entire books about the meaning of happiness. Joy, contentment, satisfaction, comfort, bliss. The list goes on. Words that are all a slightly different side of what happiness is. It matters here because someone could say, take some money, buy a toy. That toy makes you happy. That's it. End of story. Money buys happiness. But the initial surge of joy at getting a new toy or winning a little prize isn't really the type of happiness we're talking about here, is it? Don't we really mean some sort of a life satisfaction or comfort or contentment? And the reason why I'm nitpicking so much is because a lot of these arguments I've seen will slide around between these various meanings of these words to help win their argument. And that's the sloppiness that I'm talking about. I find the biggest issue is with the word buy. What does it mean to buy something? Basically, it means to trade money for it. Well, happiness is an intangible. It can't be bought directly. There is no happiness store out there. So the argument becomes something like, I'm hungry. Money can buy a ham sandwich. The ham sandwich will relieve my hunger and make me happy. Therefore, money makes me happy. We've got that transitive property going there. That one simple argument is pretty unconvincing because, as we just mentioned, Eating a sandwich isn't really the type of happiness that we're talking about here. And even if it was, it's really the sandwich that's doing all the heavy lifting, not the money. There are other ways to get sandwiches without money. So it's hard to give all that credit to money and not the sandwich. By piling up a dozen examples and swapping out sandwiches for things like places to live and cars to travel and etc., they'll try to build an argument and convince you with brute force. To cloud the issue a little bit more, they can switch to intangibles like power or freedom. The underlying problem with these types of arguments is that every statement can be challenged. Can money give us freedom? Well, that's debatable. And does freedom give us happiness? Well, it can, but maybe not necessarily. Too much freedom can be terrifying, in fact. We can use power instead of freedom, or another concept. It ends up having the same issues. But I think nitpicking and digging deep like this brings us a little bit closer to the truth. It helps us realize that nothing is as clear cut as it seems. Even real world examples don't give us a clearer answer than those academic studies do. I'm sure we all know somebody who grew up poor and is finally earning some good money. And they'll say, I've been rich and I've been poor. And I gotta tell you, rich is better. Then we have another friend who says he can't go on the American way. He closed his shop, sold his house, bought a ticket to the West Coast, and now he's giving a stand-up routine in LA. One person sees money as a ticket to freedom. Gives them the ability to travel, to seek out better opportunities. But another person only sees golden handcuffs. That paycheck is the only thing keeping him at that job that he hates. But we can find examples with pure cash. For example, somebody saves for many years and builds up a very large savings account. And those savings can give a person a lot of security. But a large savings account can cause a lot of worry as well. Worry that you're going to lose it. Retirees often worry about money because even though they have a very large savings, it has to last them the rest of their lives. And there's no new money coming in. And I've known several retirees who worry themselves sick over it. So the very same thing could cause happiness for some and misery for others. I feel that money and happiness are fundamentally unrelated. Right now, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love living in the country, tending to my animals, being out in nature alone with my thoughts. But money is growing tight, and it's going to be a big issue pretty soon. But that doesn't affect my happiness, and it's not going to. It's a separate issue. It's just one separate issue that I'll have to address later. And that's my answer to the question, can money buy happiness? Well, maybe on the surface, but deep down it has no effect. Happiness runs much deeper than money ever could. So what do you think? Can money buy happiness? Let me know in the comments. And thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. My name is Joe. This is my channel Off Grid Solitude, and I'll see you in the next video.